10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello everyone, this is Chris Rennirt from Space Jockey Reviews, here today with another very special guest, my good friend and fellow movie reviewer, Jenny Brown, also known as Jenny Kruger from Memoirs of a Scream Queen. How are you today, Jenny?
I'm doing really well. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing really well too. I'm glad you're here today.
I'm glad to be here, and thanks again. This is awesome.
You are very, very welcome. Jenny, I remember that I first met you when I was the 150th follower on your website, and we both published articles about that. Do you remember that?
I do. That was awesome.
Yeah. I talk to you a lot on Facebook and Twitter. I read your movie reviews. And with your website, Memoirs of a Scream Queen, we obviously have lots in common. And it's really great to finally talk to you and do an interview. So are you ready?
I am.
Okay. First question. Jenny, like Zena Sade Dixon, who I also just recently interviewed, you were likely inspired by something early in your life that got you into loving horror, writing movie reviews, and having a website. Tell us about that inspiration. With an alias like Jenny Kruger, I know Freddie has something to do with this.
Yes, it actually does. And what's funny is, growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch those type of movies. So when I got a little bit older, me and my cousin would head over to Blockbuster when that was the cool place to go, and we rented all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies because we could get away with watching it at her house than we could at my house. And that's when I just really fell in love with the franchise of Nightmare on Elm Street. But growing up, I remember watching Poltergeist and everything, and that was a family favorite with me and my sisters. But I think the movie that mainly was inspiration and mainly made me a big horror fan was Freddy versus Jason, which is no surprise because Freddy's in it. But that's when I really knew I was a horror fan. And I've watched horror movies ever since I was little, but it was never to the same extent as it was now. And that's what Freddy versus Jason really did, and it brought that to life. And I started back in my website back in 2010, and that was during a dark time for me. And I really wanted to be able to meet new people that shared the same love and interest for horror as I do. And what's funny is, a lot of people know, I live in Utah. That's not really a big horror community place.
Yes.
So it's really nice to be able to meet everybody. And I've met a lot of great people such as yourself and became really good friends with sharing the same, genre as this and love for this. But it's really mainly, I think, Nightmare on Elm Street was the main thing that brought me into it. And I just wanted to showcase. And I have OCD, so what better way to showcase my obsession than writing it out?
Yeah, right. Yes. About your website, Memoirs of a Scream Queen, at memoirsofascreamqueen.blogspot.com, it's one of my top favorite websites that I take time out to visit regularly. Your love of horror shines through, or rather cuts its way into, I should say, every review you write. Tell us about Memoirs of a Scream Queen, its content, and how you came up with the website's name.
Thank you, Chris. That was really sweet, and I do appreciate you taking the time to read my blog and everything. That means a lot to me. And for blog, what's funny is I was actually on vacation during 2010. I was thinking, okay, I want to make a website because I've read a lot of websites before and thought, okay, let's just do this. And what's funny is back in 2007, I actually lived in Denver as a nanny for my niece when my little nephew was getting a heart transplant. And my older sister had a blog to keep all her friends, family up to date on the progress. And her name was Memoirs of a Mommy. So I thought, okay, I like that title, but switch it around. And that's how I came up with the title. And just with the site, it's just mainly with movie reviews and talking about like articles, that's anything that's going on in the horror industry. And anything that has to do with horror that interests me, I like to talk about it, and I like to get other people's opinions on it to see what they like, what they don't like, and everything about that.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good answer. Good answer. And trust
Hopefully
me,
that makes sense.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it does, certainly. And trust me, everyone, I do visit Memoirs of a Scream Queen regularly, and you should too. So be sure to check it out, and be sure to visit and like Jenny's Memoirs of a Scream Queen Facebook page. The more horror, the better, I always say, and there sure is plenty of it here. Next, Jenny, I'm also curious about how long you've been writing movie reviews.
That would be 3 years this last June. I started in June of 2010. And, of course, I've been off and on. You know, I get really distracted with the ADHD and everything.
Yeah.
But mainly the site's been going on since June of 2010, hopefully longer.
And,
you know?
and you've been writing the reviews. Did you write movie reviews before you started a website?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. In my case, I was writing them long before I had a website, and I just had to do that to find some place to put them.
Yeah.
I'll also add for the listeners out there that Memoirs of a Scream Queen is an award-winning website receiving the Zombie Rabbit Award, the 7x7 Link Award from my friend, and I'm sure Jenny's friend as well, Maynard Morrissey, and the Versatile Blogger Award, just to name a few. Jenny even gives out her own award, appropriately called the You Make Me Scream Award. So all of you bloggers out there, keep up the horrifically awesome work, and Jenny just might send her Screaming Award your way. Jenny, speaking of the You Make Me Scream Award, what must a blogger or movie reviewer do to receive it?
That just showing their dedication to the site and, you know, also being respectful to their followers, because I've come across a few blogs that are not respectful to their followers, and they come off like they just don't care, but it's the followers that really help your blog get out there. And I do appreciate all my fellow bloggers and all my viewers that read my stuff and actually promote it. So any site that really shows and shines through the hard work, the dedication, and being respectful to other people, that really shows to me that they mean a lot and they really care about it. And I think the last person I gave it to is our fellow blogger, Emma.
Oh, okay.
At Little Gothic Horrors. And
yes.
She's definitely a prime example of what that award means, which, you know, respectfully given, which is why I gave it to her.
Yes. Okay, bloggers, sharpen up those writing skills, and Jenny's award might just come screaming your way. Better yet, when you least expect it, as any good scream should. Since you love movies, especially horror movies, so much like me, I have to ask this, of course. What is your favorite horror movie and why? I'm having a strong suspicion that it might just take place on Elm Street.
Yes, you are half right.
Okay, half right. Well, that's good. I don't know everything then.
Okay. Can I pick more than one?
Absolutely. Sure.
Okay. What's funny is people may really think that Nightmare on Elm Street is my number one horror movie. But what's funny, It's actually not. It's number 3.
Oh, okay. Well, this is better. Interesting. More interesting than
It
I
is.
thought.
It's number 3. It's still in my top 5, but it's number 3, and it changes. And like Zena mentioned in her interview, her top 5 usually always changes, and so does mine, but my top 3 always stays the same. And I mentioned these movies before. My number 1 favorite horror movie is Children of the Corn.
Oh, really?
Absolutely adore that movie. I consider it the love of my life.
Oh.
I remember turning on the TV and watching it, and I instantly fell in love with that movie. And I've seen the whole franchise, and I've seen the remake, which I hate. I don't like the remake. But the original 1984 Children of the Corn is my number 1 favorite horror movie. I like to joke and say it's because I was raised in a religious family, so I like anything to do with demonic things.
Yes.
So you can't get any better than demonic children chilling in the cornfield. That's awesome.
I agree that evil children are some of the most scary things in a horror movie, actually, and I believe it's because they are the epitome of what should not be horror. They look often so innocent and harmless, and then when they wind up being demonic, it's just the ultimate scary thing. So
I agree.
That movie, Children of the Corn, I'm sure you know it got a lot of mixed reviews. There are people who love it like you. There are people who curse it as the worst thing they've seen. I mean, it's a mixed review. What is it about the movie that you really like so much?
Well, there's of course, not just one thing. I think I am a big fan of the 80s horror movie and just the decade in general. But Children of the Corn, I just remember, for me, yes, I understand it's a cheesy movie. It came out in the mid-80s, cheesy special effects.
Right.
And the acting is mediocre, but for that movie, I think for me, it just shined through, and I think it was very well done. And you have to be fair with the time it came out.
Sure.
You can't expect it to be, super awesome with regards of it coming out in 84.
Right.
But I really do believe the acting, for me, in my honest opinion, I think the acting for that time was awesome. The storyline was awesome. I understand it's not the same as the short story by Stephen King.
Right.
That it had a general aspect to it. That is awesome. And I think first the the main demon is awesome. You can't, what better name than he who walks behind the rose in the movie?
Yes.
Everything about that movie is, I think, amazing, and definitely I suggest everyone should watch it at least once. Even if you might not be a fan of the franchise, it definitely is a smile-worthy movie, and I can smile throughout the movie every time I watch it. And this is what means a lot. The movie means a lot to me. Is I made it a tradition every time on my birthday. I always watch it. It's a birthday tradition for me. I watch Children of the Corn.
Yes.
So.
Yes. I think I have not read the book, the Stephen King book, myself, but I think it probably is a victim of what a lot of people who've read books, they're not satisfied with the movie. Since I haven't read the book, I didn't have that to compare it to, and I liked it. But I think a lot of times movies are, they have a big burden to overcome when they're based on a movie, or rather a book. And so, but I liked Children of the Corn myself also.
And I agree. And with me, I think the reason why I liked it a lot more than the book is because I watched the movie before I read the short story, and I just fell in love with the movie. And then when I read the short story, I know this is blasphemy to Stephen King fans, I did not like the short story.
Oh, okay.
I tend to, it's like with remakes. If I like the original, I'm not going to like the remake. If I like the remake, I'm not going to like the original if I haven't seen it before. I tend to not like both. It's one or the other for me, and that's why since I saw the movie first, I like the movie better.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so your favorite movie monster, what would you say that is?
Well, we all know who that is.
Yeah, I guess we do. That's why I said it as if I didn't know, just to surprise
Yes, it's Freddy Krueger, of course.
Okay, all right. Okay, Freddy Krueger is the
Big
one.
shocker.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Yeah. There, sorry.
How do you go about choosing a movie to review?
I think just boredom mainly when I get on when I get on Netflix. I look through all the movies and anything. Usually, if the title sticks out to me and I like it, then I'll watch it. And then I usually try to ask other people too, like Zena has mentioned, what horror movies have they recently watched, and I ask for suggestions because there's so many horror movies out there that I think are being overlooked, and that's why I try to get as many suggestions as possible. But I mainly go through Netflix, or I go to our trusty Walmart and look through their horror bin collection.
Yes.
And anything that seriously pops out for me, if the title is very interesting and the cover pops out at me, then I will watch it. I think that's it. And of course, you have to have something that really pulls people in it. And of course, the movie itself has to make the viewer continue to watch it.
Yes.
You can't just rely on the title and the awesome cover art. So, but mainly I get drawn in by the title, the cover art, and the synopsis of the movie. Then that's when I watch it and try to review it. But then again, there's a lot of movies that I've watched and I just didn't want to review it because I just didn't think it was worthy for a review, you know?
Yes. I think Zena mentioned that also about how if the movie was just so terrible or not interesting enough in some big way that it wasn't worth the time to spend writing the review. Because as we all know, it takes time to sit down and write those reviews in a very thoughtful way, and some movies just don't really deserve it.
Exactly, and I totally agree. And the last movie that I've watched that I didn't hate it, but like you said, it wasn't really awesome to the point where let's take the time to write the review of it. And it was the movie The Purge.
Okay.
And have you seen that?
I have not seen it, no, but I haven't heard many good things about it either. So that I still would recommend it. It's not an awful film, but it was to the point where I felt like, blah, at the end. It's like, that was it. So that's why I really didn't want to take the time to write a review for it, which I know a lot of people agree with my feeling towards it, which that's the one movie I can remember that sticks out to me personally of just not wanting to take the time to review it. Because I try to be nice. I really do. I really don't want to be rude in my reviews. Yes.
But I really couldn't find anything good besides the villain to talk about, and I can't just dedicate the whole review to the villain. That's kind of weird.
Well, speaking of that and possibly being rude in the review and all those things, that gets right into my next question. As I'm sure you know, some people get really angry when spoilers are included in a movie review. Somehow, even if they've been warned that there will be spoilers. The main reason that all comments on my website now go to moderation first is because of a rant that one person started over my review of Prometheus, saying I posted too many photos giving the movie away. How do you feel about including spoilers in movie reviews, and have you had any readers get angry about receiving what they consider too much information?
What's funny is, yes, I did have a situation like that, and it happened about a couple of months ago. And, you know, just out of respect and not to cause a lot of drama, I'm not going to say this blogger's name, but I know a few of our fellow bloggers and friends follow this blog. But once I get into it, I think a lot of people will know exactly what I'm talking about because I mentioned before. And I posted a review of the movie Mama.
Okay.
And I included a lot of spoilers in it. And what's funny is on my website, I even have a warning that my reviews will have spoilers and it will give away the ending.
Yes.
And I put in, read at your own risk. And this blogger has been following my blog since I first started. So it's not like they didn't see this warning. So I posted this review and I just got my butt chewed and handed to me.
Oh, no.
And because they did not like that review because he read the review before he watched it, even though I say don't read it if you haven't watched the movie because it will give away the ending. Just went on, called me so many derogatory names, made a really derogatory comment against my hearing, which is, okay, you can say whatever you want. Okay, you don't like my review, that's fine, but you don't really need to take it to a childish level by name calling, especially pointing out the fact that I have a hearing disability. That's like, it's like no shit, Sherlock. I mentioned it to everybody. I wear hearing aids, I'm deaf. That's not news to anybody. But they think that let's get to that level and make me mad. I'm like, I'm going to piss her off because she pissed me off because I didn't like the review. And he went on to writing a huge post dedicated to how much I pissed him off and how he hated my writing, hated my blog. And I just thought, really? I'm like, come on. And I've actually whined about this situation to Emma a lot, and she's such a dear friend, and I kept apologizing to her, saying, I'm so sorry for whining to you, I just need to get this off. And she's a doll for listening to me. But seriously, I agree. It's like, if you have a warning, I understand nobody wants the movie spoiled, but the fact that I don't do it purposely to piss anyone off at all. It's just, that's how I wrote my reviews for a long time, and I had a warning on it. And since then, I changed the way I write reviews. If I do include spoilers, I make it as mild as possible, and I do put it in the title, mild spoilers. But as much as now, I try to do absolutely no spoilers, because it's not a fun thing to, get up every day and read a comment like that, especially when your intention was not bad at all.
Right.
Like, and which is funny, like the pictures of that movie, I really highly doubt, I haven't seen pictures, but I really highly doubt you putting up pictures will give away the movie. So I think that's really funny how they accused you of that.
Yes, I admit that this was the first, I guess what they call a troll, that I had experienced on my website. And It really demoralized me a little bit from the beginning. And I basically dealt with it by not responding, which was probably the best thing. And then afterwards, once I activated the setting that makes the comments go to moderation, the person continued to type out a lot of stuff, which then just disappeared. And so I think that people who do that often are a little discouraged in a big way when they type out such a big thing and it just disappears, and they know it'll never see anywhere on your website. So, but it is discouraging. But I know on your website, your website, as you say, it very clearly says that you will have spoilers, and you're very bold about it, and so that's fair warning, I would say.
Especially for someone who's been following my blog since almost day one. Sure. And, and I will admit, I did not take the higher road. I I don't know. I like, even though I'm not Irish, I like to tease. I have an Irish personality, and I stooped to his level, and I fought him back on it, which, it really doesn't do anything. It just adds
Right.
fuel to the fire.
Sure.
Like you said, if you get that type of response, the best thing you can do is just ignore them and keep doing it, because you're going to piss off someone, not
Right.
like that's your intention, but
Sure.
you can't please everybody. So looking back on it, I regret stooping to his level, and I wish I didn't, because really I have the followers I have now, and the Facebook friends that I have now are really the only people that their opinions mean the most to me. So that's why I say just read it, think, whatever, delete it, and go on your merry way.
Yes. Okay, well, I guess switching it to a slightly more, rather likely more positive side, what would you say is the most rewarding thing about reviewing movies and having a website?
For me, it's making all these friends. And I grew up not having a lot of friends because, a lot of people were taken aback by, someone who had hearing aids. And of course, it's back in the early 90s. It's like something not really out there. But I grew up not having a lot of friends because of this hearing disability. And I was very, very shy, which led to social anxiety. So I thought, okay, not a lot of people in Utah like horror movies. So I thought, let's do this website. And I made so many great friends that stopped by me through everything. And that right there, I think, is the most rewarding thing of having a blog. It's just the friends you make and the wonderful comments they say to you. And they truly care. And of course, you are one of them, Chris. You have always been so nice since day one, since I met you. And you're so nice with doing all the tweets to us, even though I suck at tweeting back.
Oh, that's okay.
It's very sweet, and we have the same, Facebook blogger friends that I'm sure who I'm talking about. That
yes.
Just really, like, name a few: Emma, Maynard, Gina, and
right.
Freddie. They've all been very nice, and
right.
that's, I think, is the rewarding. Because I don't regret ever doing that, because I consider you guys very, very good friends, and consider my horror family, and I love you guys to death. And that's the one thing that I feel the most rewarding thing of having a blog is the friends you make that are lasting.
That's a great answer, and thank you so much for what you said about me. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, and I meant every word.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you even more again. And I've got to correct one thing you said. This is a good thing, though. It's a good thing. You said you sucked at tweeting back. Actually, you don't. You always send me you thank me, and you retweet it, and all those, you like it, and all those good things. So I mean, you're doing fine. I don't think there's a problem at all.
Like I'm not.
No, you're doing fine. What would you say is the most challenging thing about reviewing movies?
Just having the time to sit down and then write it all and then think of all the words, because you really don't want to do a crappy review.
Right.
You really want to have it be meaningful. And that's the thing that I've been having a problem with, is just sitting down and writing up the review. And it's gotten back to the point where I was actually considering taking a break from blogging, because I just couldn't get myself, because I work in retail, which takes a lot of my time. So it's hard to just sit down and just write up that review, because I want to put a lot of effort and meaning into my reviews.
Sure.
which is why I find it's challenging, but it's also rewarding in the end.
Yes. So I'd say that's the same thing for me. I often, like any of us, I have periods of time where I have to do a lot of other things, of course, and it's also a little more challenging for me because I have two websites. I have the SpaceJockeyReviews.com, which was the second one, and then I've got one that's ChrisRennirt.com, which is from Blogger. So my idea was originally to post the content both places, with the .com, the Space Jockey Reviews being the main one. But for me, even just physically putting it on two websites is a big deal. You know how that can be. It's a job unto itself after everything else is done. So so I'm a little bit lazy sometimes on getting it on the second one. It's the job it's the big challenge I've had.
Yeah, and that's the thing with me. I'm being lazy, and then ADHD comes in, and I'm like, ooh, look, a plane. I get easily distracted.
Yes, I think I have the ADHD a little bit myself, too. It's I don't know if it's common among horror movie lovers or not, but I believe I have that as well. Jenny, here's a question I ask movie reviewers. I always ask movie reviewers because there's always a good story behind it. What is the worst movie you've ever reviewed, and what was so bad about it?
Oh, two actually come to mind, and it's from the same director. It was, which is actually kind of funny. Let me see if I can. The recent one I did was Dangerous Worry Dolls.
Oh,
that movie was just stupid, so dumb, and it's a laugh. It's like a 2-time watch, and that's being very generous. And what's funny, the movie before that was Doll Graveyard. Seriously, I don't know what his problem. I don't know what his problem was, but what's funny is Dangerous Worry Dolls was actually a step in the right direction from Doll Graveyard, but not by much. It wasn't. They're not good movies. They're not good at all.
So
they're awful.
So
it's sad because the director directed Puppet Master, I think.
Oh,
he did Puppet Master. What's his name? Charles Dance.
Okay.
So I know he's very well known with the whole Puppet Master franchise, but these movies were bad. For the acting, the storyline, everything. They were bad.
And what is the name of these movies again? I want to make sure I sort of avoid them, I guess.
Dangerous Worry Dolls.
Dangerous Worry Dolls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Worry Dolls.
Okay.
And Doll Graveyard.
Doll Graveyard. Okay. Well, that first title is a little bit bizarre anyway, but
yeah, to be honest, I don't like movies with dolls coming to life, so I'm surprised I even watched these movies, but they're not scary. They're dumb.
Yeah.
They're cheesy. Dangerous Worry Dolls is actually pretty entertaining, and I would watch it again, but it's not the greatest movie, and it was just bad, and I think I was kind of not that nice about my review in Dangerous Worry Dolls, but I wasn't like really, really mean either, but it was not good.
Well, that gets us right into the next question. And that is about potentially being mean. I guess, Jenny, as I've said, you, like Zena, definitely have a tell-it-like-it-is approach to movie reviewing, and I really admire that about you, too. You tell the truth with style and a tactful dose of humor as well sometimes. As well, you're always tactful when you use humor, is what I mean. As I also, I didn't want that to sound the wrong way.
I was like, what do you mean sometimes?
Well, that's what happens when I stray away from the question that I have in front of my face and add an adverb to it or something. It doesn't always. but I corrected it.
I knew what you meant. I thought
quickly
that was
funny. I did quickly correct it, so at least I feel good about that. As I also asked Zena, do you ever find yourself holding back criticism or just totally skipping a review of a terrible movie for fear of offending someone?
Yes, absolutely. I do not like to offend anyone, and it's against my personality. And I'm not just saying this, but I'm seriously one of the nicest people you will ever know until you really, 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 really piss me off. but that's very hard to do. I'm not easily offended, and I do not like offending people. I do not like being rude. I don't like hurting their feelings, and that's what I don't like doing in a review. I feel like you can still get your point across, but doing it in a nice way. But if you really, it's like the whole thing, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's what I feel. If I have nothing but mean things to say about this movie because I absolutely hated it, I won't even take the time to review it, because I really don't want to offend all the people who put the hard work into making this movie.
Yes.
Because in the long run, I would feel bad. I would feel really, really bad, and did that knowing that I was that mean to someone just because I didn't like a movie. So I will avoid it. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to do confrontation. I want to be nice. Of course, everybody wants to be nice.
Yes.
But and I feel like if I can get my point across but still do it in a nice way, then I will do it. If not, I won't write the review, and I'll just say, nope, didn't like it, don't suggest it, and I won't suggest the movie to anybody.
Right. Well, that's another challenge for me, because I'm like you. I don't like to be mean, and I know these movies are somebody's babies. I mean, they really put everything into it, and I try to be always constructive. I never like to just tear things down. I like to make reasonable suggestions for improvement whenever I can. And the other thing is, we own these websites, and we don't have to review anything we don't want to.
Exactly.
On my website, part of the, I don't know if you call it an edge, but one of the features of my website is that I review movies and present movies that I think other people would like. Even if I don't always like it as much, I think there's something redeeming about it that would make somebody want to watch it, and I try to point those things out too. So, yeah, it's a tough thing to do, but somebody's got to do it, like they say. So far, unless there are some from the past I haven't seen, you haven't yet done any interviews. When I first started my website, doing interviews was nowhere on the radar. I only planned to write movie reviews, but soon enough the opportunities popped up, and I just said, why not? They fit right into what I'm doing anyway. So have you thought about doing interviews? If so, who would be your dream interviewee to get you started, and why that person?
I really haven't thought about doing interviews, because I didn't think I'd be like the type of person to do it. I really think it takes a special type of person to be an interviewer, and you are one of them. You are a great interviewer, and you have awesome questions. And I'm not just saying that because you're interviewing me at all. I really, truly do mean it.
Thank you. Yes.
So you're welcome. But I think I'm too distracted to do interviews. But if I had to do an interview, could it be anyone, like living or dead?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that was absolutely. There's no real rules about any of these questions. You can change it. That's fine. Sure.
Okay. If I was going to interview anyone, I would really want to interview Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay.
I've always had a fascination about learning about serial killers.
Yes.
And he's always been the main one that I've always been a favorite of learning. I do want to start out by saying I do not condone anything these people do. I do not support serial killers. I do not think they're awesome. And I understand what they do is not right. And I don't want this coming off like I condone what they do, because that is not what it is. I just like learning about them, like really getting into their mind, like what made them do this, what made them snap. And I think Jeffrey Dahmer is the only one that, in my opinion, I felt really showed, what's the word, remorse at the very end. And a lot of people could say maybe that's because he had a life in prison, but I really don't agree. I think he truly did feel bad what he did. And I think I would want to interview him to really get inside his mind and to see what made him turn into this, and really, really just try to talk to him and get to know the real Jeffrey Dahmer, because I'm sure all these stories and articles that we read are changed by each person that reads them. So I really wanted to be able to get to know the real Jeffrey Dahmer, and I thought that'd be interesting to talk to him. Of course I can't because he's dead, but, you know.
Right. Well, those are always intriguing interviews. They would be, just getting into the mind of someone like that, and I can certainly see that would be an intriguing discussion for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As far as your ability to interview, I totally believe that you do a great job at it, because you're doing a great job being the one interviewed right here. And I'll tell you what else for some encouragement. When I first started interviewing people, as I said, it was nowhere in my plans. It just popped up, and I thought, okay, we'll give it a try. But you just get better and better at it. You listen to what you do every time before, and you improve it, and soon enough you'll be satisfied. And that's what it was with me. I can go back and listen to some of my first interviews, and I immediately thought I kept saying and all this stuff. You know how people feel they have to keep some sort of noise, something coming out of their mouth, and there can't be any moments of silence, you know. And so, but anyway, it's I have improved myself over time, and I'm sure you can do the same thing. And plus, the great thing about it is you just get to talk to so many really interesting people when you do this. And like in this case, I'm talking to you. You can go to conventions, and you can wear your press badge and get interviews with a lot of people that are in movies doing things that they're in movies you're watching sometimes. And so it's really a fascinating thing. You might want to think about that.
I agree, and thank you. Yeah, I think I would just be too nervous. I go up to him and I just draw a blank. I'm like,
yeah, you'll get over it. I promise you. You'll start to enjoy it. So that's certainly a good answer, and I'll expect to hear some of those interviews from you coming out here soon enough now. Jenny, I must also say that I love it when you add articles and commentary about personal interviews to your website, as you sometimes do. Sometimes about things that are not at all related to horror. About this, I'm remembering in particular a post you published back in November of 2012 called "To Whom It May Concern." It was a letter to an ex-boyfriend who you had some issues with, I think, and it really put him in his place big time. It's one of the moments when I really felt like I met Jenny Kruger. You just really let your personality out there, and it was not rude. It was just very honest, and I felt like you were getting some things out that probably just made you feel better to get out, and I really liked it. Arguably, it could be considered a memoir about real-life horror and actually fit right into the genre. I loved it because it added so much more about your personality and who you are. Few bloggers I know do that, but I think it's a great edge that you have doing that. So I'm wondering if we can expect to see more personal posts like this from you in the future, perhaps even about other subjects. Of course, I'm not wishing more bad experiences on you, but I'm just curious because it's such effective content, I guess.
Well, I'm not opposed to it. And I did make another post that had nothing to do about horror. It was about, I think it was called 5-year anniversary of my little nephew getting his heart transplant.
Oh, okay.
And I really wanted to get that out because I mentioned that before on my blog that I was a nanny in Denver, and I really wanted to try to raise awareness for organ donation, and I thought my blog was a great way to try to do that. And I did get some mean comments on that too, saying I should not post those type of things on a horror blog. And I'm like, I'm definitely not opposed to it, but I think it has to be the right thing. And I think what's funny is that I really do appreciate that you really like that article about to whom it may concern, because I actually regret ever putting it up.
Oh, really?
I should have deleted it. Yeah.
Well, I wondered about that when I read it, and I thought, this is just too good not to mention. It's just one of those things you might not expect, but it's a really good article, especially since it doesn't name the person. So it winds up being just, it could be something that so many women would have to say to so many guys out there, and it just functions as a piece that's disconnected from anybody in particular. So it worked well, I thought.
Well, thank you. And what's
Yeah.
funny is I had a couple other posts that had to do with this guy. Are you aware of the post that I've done in the past called Music Mondays?
I think I might not have seen that one.
Okay, I haven't done a few of them. I've been really slacking on those. But one of them, I featured Christina Perry's song Jar of Hearts.
Okay.
And that had to do a little bit about that situation. And what's funny is that's the most viewed post in my whole entire blog.
Oh, see there?
It's horror related.
See there? That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah,
and you know what? Now that you mentioned the title, I do remember seeing the title on your website. It's just one I had not gotten around to reading yet, but I do remember that title.
Yes.
Yes.
I do try to showcase music that has a horror influence.
Yes.
Influence theme, like, Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson.
Right.
But I just felt like I had to just put that up there. And, thanks to Google and all the recently dumped girls, they found their way to my blog.
Yes. Yeah. Well, well, there's one thing I do, and it's a little bit, you might call it a little bit cocky, but when I post something that is possibly off subject like that, I'm pretty bold as to say, well, I'm the editor-in-chief, and being the editor-in-chief has its privileges. But it's also always easy enough to tweak something here and there to make it fit into a horror theme somehow. For example, when I see almost any celebrity and I have an opportunity to interview that person, I'm thinking anybody can talk about horror movies. So as long as we do that, we can talk about whatever else you want to talk about too. But it's just getting a person's perspective on horror and sci-fi or whatever fits them right into everything. Even like I said, that to whom it may concern could be classic, because I have a section on my website. It's called Real World Horror, and I would easily be able to fit that in there if it happened to me.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, right. So you just have to be a little creative about it, I guess, and then nobody asks.
I agree.
Yeah. So go ahead, everyone, and look for this post. Go to memoirsofascreamqueen.blogspot.com and check out To Whom It May Concern. Great stuff for sure. I'll even have a link to it on Space Jockey Reviews. So get to it before Jenny deletes it.
I might.
Yeah, well, you never know. This just might help to, make it, I guess, the second most viewed, or at least, who knows. Yeah. And I must also add, Jenny, that the photos you produce for your website as yourself, and your alias, Jenny Kruger, I suppose you are fantastic. And I do capitalize and underline the letters in the word fantastic here. They are some of the most captivating images I've seen. Very professional and just perfect for what you do. Yes, and I'm just like you told me earlier when you complimented me, I really mean it too.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that.
I love the hair, the blood, the looks on your face. You can get some of the most interesting contorted looks on your face if you want to, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. One of the pictures of you has even been for a long time now on the sidebar of my website, Space Jockey Reviews. Tell us how you get the ideas for such truly awesome photos. And yes, they are truly awesome. So tell us, what goes through your head when you're thinking about your next picture.
really, what's funny is when I took those pictures, it was 1:00 in the morning. I was bored and I wanted to take new pictures. So I thought, okay, I'll add a little spice to it. I'll put fake blood on me. And I decided, let's put it on Facebook, because I figured everyone on my Facebook and follows my Twitter, they understand my sense of humor and they know who I am and my personality. But to a point, I kind of like to shock people, not to the point to offend them, but I just like to shock them, like doing something or saying something and they think, what the crap? That's what I like. I really like to leave an impression, I try to leave a good impression, of course, but I think mainly I just love I've seen pictures like that all online, and I just always enjoyed them, and I thought, I'm going to add some to it because my hair was looking good, and my blonde roots weren't coming in, so I thought, let's get some pictures.
Those pictures are some of my favorite pictures, really. That's why I've had some of the pictures on my sidebar have come and gone over the couple of years. I've had the website, but that one of you with the black hair and the blood is just going to stay there, I believe, for a long time.
Thank you. My mom hates it.
Oh, really? Well, I guess that's the type of thing moms might not like as much. But
don't post on your picture. You'll get a lot of creepers looking at you.
Well, you also have a great variety of looks that you pull off in your pictures. There's just quite a versatility you have with that. And for the listeners out there right now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I'll be posting a lot of those pictures, those great pictures of Jenny with this interview post right here. So look for those. They should be right underneath of the interview. So let's see. Jenny, very often, as is the case for me and other movie reviewers I know, acting, directing, and producing short films is a next step, or at least something that tempts us all. As I told Zena, I just finished a movie called Undying Love for You a few weeks ago. I made it with a group of people I met, coincidentally reviewing movies. And I just asked Zena the same question. Have you ever thought about acting, directing, or producing?
Yes, I have. Ever since I was very, very little, I've always wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be in Hollywood, and I wanted to be I wanted to be the beauty queen on the silver screen so much. And that's what I'm trying very hard to aspire to do. I'm taking acting classes, and for a long time, I could have gone in, did it earlier, but, like I mentioned before to you, I have really, really bad social anxiety. So it was really hard to do it, and I think I'm too fat for Hollywood. I'm trying to lose weight.
Oh, no, I think you'll be fine.
Thank you. But I really want to, that's my main goal, that even comes writing, because I've been writing since I was little, and I mainly want to be an actress, and that's what I'm trying very hard to aspire to do. And I hope, one day it's a reality.
Absolutely it is. And that's the way you have to keep thinking, is that it is a reality. I can even tell you, as I'm sure you would probably agree, just having a website and writing the reviews and getting the responses from followers and members and all, the support is so encouraging and makes you feel like you can do so much more. If anyone had told me that within a couple of years I would have had as many Twitter followers as I have, or as many people who read my website, or as many directors and producers sending me movies in the mail, I would have said, you're crazy. So, but it's happening. So if anyone had said I would be involved in making a movie, all of these things, but it started from the website and doing something that I first had a lot of confidence in. So yes, I think I will, I really think you should stay with that for sure. Because I think it's a great. It's great. Assuming you ever get into making a movie, what might the movie be about? Tell us about a plot you have in mind, and I'm sure you probably have one.
Yeah, I have a few. That's what happens when I stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I think of all these great insomnia-induced movie ideas.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think one that I actually thought of would be I actually even thought of the title too, which is actually really funny, and that's how I write stories. I think of the title. Well, of course, I think of the general concept of the book, but then I base a lot of the things off the title. But I called it The Good Wife. It's about a woman finding out that her husband is really a serial killer. So she has to decide, is she going to stay with him and support him regardless of what he's done, or divorce him and have nothing to do with him like the rest of society says she should do. It's mainly about her, deciding she's going to stick with him, which is why it's called The Good Wife, and just throughout the whole trial and everything about the whole entire thing. And I would love to try to get it on script, but I'm not a script writer.
No.
But I think it's actually a quite interesting concept that I would actually like to see become a reality. You never know.
Oh, yeah, you never know. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. On the subject of movies again, I notice on your website that you say you are, and I quote, a strong supporter of the Human Centipede films.
Yes.
I like them too, so I have to ask, what is it that you like so much about the Human Centipede movies? And I have a feeling this is going to be a really good answer. So don't hold back. Just go right
Well,
ahead.
I hope I don't disappoint either.
Oh, no, of course not. It's impossible. You've already gone way, you've already actually said so many fascinating things in the interview that there's no way you could disappoint. So
thank you.
Don't worry
so much.
about that at all.
For me, I remember seeing the trailer for it on Rennirt, and when it was starting to come out, and I thought, wow, this sounds really, really, really cool. And then I watched it, and of course my parents were completely opposed to me even seeing it because of the concept of the movie, which I understand.
Yes.
But I saw it, and I was so moved by it. And the reason why I liked it so much is because we have a director like Tom Six who's really willing to step out of the boundaries and make a movie that is known as controversial and not caring. And that's what I like, is he's not afraid to take risks as a fear of offending people. And like, really, if you're going to get offended by that, it's like you're really easily offended, because I did think the movie was very, very mild compared to a lot of what a lot of people have mentioned about it. I didn't think it was as bad as anyone said it was. And I liked it because I liked the concept, because the concept was new, it was original, it was out of the ordinary, and it really took horror to a whole new level and to extremes that people are talking about it. It sticks with you, and whether it leaves a nasty taste in your mouth or awesome feeling, that's what I like about it. And it's really, it's out of the ordinary, and it blew me away. And I like how he wasn't afraid to make this movie, knowing society was going to disagree with it. And Roger Ebert even gave it a no-star rating.
Mm-hmm.
Which I found actually quite funny, because I gave it, if I can't remember, I think I gave it a 4.
Okay.
I think I gave it a 4. I gave it a high rating because I loved it. And I'm not ashamed of saying I am a strong supporter of those movies, because I like horror movies like that. I like horror movies that are not afraid to step out of the boundaries and make a movie regardless of how controversial it is, or fear that they're going to offend someone.
I do
too. And I
And
hope that question also makes sense, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's very excellent
answer, I should say, makes sense. But that's why I like and love the movies, and I will be a strong supporter, and I am a strong supporter of Tom Six. And I talked to him a couple of times on Twitter. He's one of the nicest people you will ever meet, and he's funny, and he really does care about his fans, and he really cares about bringing out a movie that people want to see. And, who cares about the concept? It really was mild. Like, I can see them freaking out over the sequel. That was a lot more, gory,
yes,
a lot more to the extreme. but I think the storyline of the first Human Centipede was amazing, and I will support that movie till I die.
All right. That's a great answer. Absolutely. Jenny, what else is currently on your resume that you'd like to tell us about?
Oh, like horror resume?
Like anything resume. Like anything big going on that you want to tell us about, or anything else you're into that would surprise us? Like, oh, I didn't know Jenny Kruger does that or has this experience with whatever other.
What's funny is I'm a huge open book, so pretty much everything I mention, I will mention probably you've heard, because like I said, I'm OCD. I have very, very, really bad OCD, so everything I become obsessive with, it goes on Facebook.
Oh.
But what's funny is a year ago, I starred in a movie. It was a student film, but hey, it gives you experience.
Yeah, well, I've
seen. So I was, luckily for that, I started in a student film that I was able to get in from my acting teacher. And what's funny is I played the mean girl, which is completely against my personality. But apparently what's funny is I was told I played that role so well, all the other castmates were avoiding me because they thought I was that rude.
All right. That's quite a compliment. I mean, not normally, would
I
you?
know,
But
and I
certainly
keep telling them, like saying, I'm really not that mean. Be my friend. I'm nice.
All right. So you have acting experience as well. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and I started a lot of, plays in school and, church plays. But hey, it gives you experience. And,
are any of these by chance anywhere to be seen, like YouTube or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I wish.
Yeah, I wish too. I'd like to see it.
Maybe it's a good thing because I saw pictures and I thought, wow, I look bad. I'm a typical girl. We go straight to what we look like.
Yeah. What else do you see yourself doing in the future if the stars line up just right for you? I know you said you would like to do more acting, and yes, and I do remember on your website you said you'd like to work for Bloody Disgusting, or rather write for Bloody Disgusting, I think it was, or FearNet maybe? Yeah. Okay. So you have writing. Writing is an aspiration, I guess, for a publication or yes. Anything else?
I think just mainly those. I mainly really hope to be able to be a successful actress.
Right.
I know it's slim, but I've had the experience, and I really do think, and of course, I'm not trying to be cocky or very full of myself.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No problem.
I really do. I really do believe I have the talent and I have the personality to make in Hollywood. I may be shy at first with the whole anxiety, but once I get to know you, it's like I'm a firecracker.
Sure, I can tell. You've already just exploded here since we started the interview.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier before, I'm really nervous.
Oh, really? Well, I would never know. See, there's those people that are nervous and you never know it, that are some of the most powerful creative people because they got all that firecracker energy going, and nobody even knows that they're a little nervous. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, if, like you said, the stars align just right, I really hope I can make it in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I really hope, and I can really hope I get to the, Oscar-worthy status. That is a dream of mine.
And I might be a little oversensitive myself to do this again, but I'm going to correct myself. I mentioned all these things. I said you'd like to write for Bloody Disgusting and FearNet, and you want to be you want to do acting and all these things. I said, is there anything else? I said, as if that's not enough. I mean, there's a lot going on right there. So if you said, okay, that's it, yeah. I agree.
I didn't take that. I didn't take it like that at all.
Okay.
So you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add? This is your opportunity to talk about anything I haven't asked, and I always ask everyone this question just in case there's something else that I forgot.
Oh, wow, I'm not quite sure because I think you've done a great job. So I really don't know. I think you showcased everything.
Well, yeah, and I'm even going to do better because just when you thought it was all over, it's not. Now, and if you've listened to any of my other interviews, you might have suspected this or expected it. I have what I call 5 random questions designed to get to know you better personally. However, for the first time ever, and I'm not even sure why at all, but in your case, Jenny, I have to call them 6 random questions because after too much time thinking, I couldn't narrow them down to just 5. So you have 6. Woohoo! Yeah. You broke the record. You've got 6 instead of 5. So, and that really sort of means, well, not sort of, it does mean something because I'm pretty to the point about my 5 random questions. I sort of have an OCD about that too. But anyway, number 1, and this is the one I ask everybody too. If you could go anywhere in the world you've never been before, or even anywhere in the universe, again, since this is Space Jockey Reviews, where would you go and why?
Oh, for me, it would be Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love Ireland. I studied that country growing up with every time I had to do like a book report or like a school report on a country, I always picked Ireland. I love everything about it. It's so beautiful there. And I just love the scenery. I love just the culture. Everything about Ireland is so beautiful. But besides Ireland, of course, that's the number one thing that's on my top list of places to go. If I make it in Hollywood, I'm going there.
Yeah. And
also, I would love to go to Germany. I have a lot of German in me.
Really?
And that's mainly of my ancestors came from Germany, and I'd love to go there to be able to see like where my family came from, and I think it would be awesome to visit that, just to get the history and where know where you came from.
Yes.
And I think pictures in Germany is so beautiful. I'd
Yes.
love to go to those 2 places.
It's quite a coincidence, I guess. I always find that people that write movie reviews seem to have all these really bizarre things in common. But yes, I've always wanted to go to Ireland too. It's just that sort of romantic atmosphere about that it seems to have, and then also I've researched my family origins, and my family did come from Germany. I traced it back to the late, I guess, mid 1700s and all that. So it's a very strong German ancestry for me. So I love to go there too. If you prepared your favorite food for a special guest, what would be on the Jenny Brown menu?
Oh, it would be a buffet. I love to eat.
Okay.
It'd be a nice buffet.
All right, that's a good one. So
the more the merrier. It's like, I know everybody likes to eat, whether they stay, they don't. Everybody likes food. So, and I think a buffet, it's like if you have a variety of, I'm a picky eater, so I love to have a variety of different things. So it's not like I'm just set to one thing and then I end up not liking it and then I had nothing else to eat. So I think a buffet with different varieties of foods would actually be a great thing to do with, like parties or anything like that, because that way you're not just set to one style of food and you can have anything and as much as you want. So I think you can't go wrong with a buffet.
No, that's a smart answer too, and you're the first person who's ever given me that answer. It's such a versatile answer with all the choices for anybody. Anybody would be satisfied with a buffet. If you could travel back in time or forward into the future, I started not to give you that option, but I decided to do that on the last minute, and live in another time, what would the year be and why?
I think it would be the 80s. I would love to be like in my early 20s in the 80s. I love the style. I love the whole decade is awesome. The movies are great. The fashion, the music. and I always feel, I think out of all our horror friends, I think I'm the youngest out of all of you guys.
Oh, okay.
I'm 25.
Okay.
So I always loved feeling older. I felt like I was born in the wrong time. I felt like I shouldn't have been born in the beginning of 88. I feel like I should have been born in 1978. I've been told I have an old soul.
Oh,
so
okay.
I really think if I could go back, I would go back and be born in 78 and just be like growing up in the 80s. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah. If you could add one thing to your life that would make you a lot happier, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Oh. That's an interesting question. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I can give you that option I gave Zena. You can come back to it in the very end, or you can just skip it and email me or send me the answer later, and I can tack it on.
I do want to come back to it.
Okay, great.
That's a very good question.
Okay.
And that'd be sad if I can't answer it. Really?
Okay. Well, we'll come back to it. Don't let me forget to come back to it in case I do. This should be an interesting question, too. Describe the perfect man for you. What would he look like, and what type of personality would he have? Perhaps you even currently have him, and you can just describe that guy right now.
Chris, if I could do that, I wouldn't still be single.
Oh, okay. well, we know it's not the guy in To Whom It May Concern. We can safely say that.
No. No, and I like to go on record and say we were really exclusive because he didn't want to be. So, no, he was not a boyfriend. He was just a jerk.
Okay. It's a good thing we just don't know this guy's real name. That's just great, because that way you can talk about him all you want. Nobody knows who he is.
Oh, yeah. I think for me, someone who gets my personality. I understand once you get to know me, I can come off a little bit too strong. I don't try to be. I've been told I can be kind of intimidating. I just think I have a strong personality. And I think for me, a guy that perfect man for me would be someone that can really connect well with that strong personality. We can balance each other out. And we, of course, share the same interests. But I really can't see myself being with someone who does not like horror movies.
Yes.
Because that's a big, along with a lot of other people, of fellow bloggers, that's a big part of my life. And I can't see that ever working. It's like, you don't like horror movies, and like, I don't know how this is going to work. It could, but I think it's very planned. But of course, share the same interests. Like someone who I can, I love to laugh. I think it's one of the greatest things you could do. I believe it's the best medicine. Laughter is the best medicine. So anyone that can seriously, I'm a sucker for anyone who can make me laugh. If you can make me laugh, I am yours. And I think that's mainly, be respectful. I don't want to come off shallow and just say, oh, he has to be super hot. No. Looks, of course, is good, but a great, of course, a great personality, someone that you can really connect with and get along with, and someone that feel like this is, seriously your twin soul. And of course, I haven't met him yet because I'm still single, but hey, maybe he's in Hollywood.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the last question before we go back to the one we skipped, it's another one I ask everyone. Do you think there's life elsewhere in the universe?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm proud of you. That's what I wanted to hear.
I don't like thinking about it because that always disturbs me, but yes, I do. For a long time, I didn't want to believe. My dad would always say, yeah, there's other beings and other worlds. I'm like, shut up. No, there's not. I don't want to think about that. That always gave me anxiety. But yes, I do believe there's other beings out in other worlds, and I don't want to meet them because that's kind of creepy. But
yeah, right. Well, that's true. Yeah.
That's why I avoid any movies with aliens. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Give me a good demonic possession movie any day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, so you think you can go back to that question about the one thing that would make you a lot happier, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Being able to accomplish my goals and being able to, I've always wanted to find that special person and get married. And for a long time, I always thought I was going to die alone.
Oh.
But I think for me, being able to accomplish my goals, if I can really do career-wise what I love to do, then I seriously bring me more happiness, because nobody wants to work in retail their whole entire life,
Yeah.
So I think being able to accomplish your goals and know that you're doing something that you love to do, that would seriously bring more happiness in my life.
If you just get this personality you have, this great personality, just so full of energy and just a very likable person, you're
Thank you.
very easy to talk to. You're just full of energy. If you get this personality out there, I am sure that you will be able to do all of these things you want to do and a whole lot more. So just have total confidence in yourself, Jenny, and I'm sure you'll achieve everything you're looking for.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I really do appreciate that.
You are very welcome. Okay, everyone. Be sure to check out Jenny Brown, a.k.a. Jenny Kruger, and her awesome and appropriately horrifying website at memoirsofascreamqueen.blogspot.com. Like Jenny, very easily done, on her fantastic Facebook page, also at Memoirs of a Scream Queen, and follow her on Twitter at Jenny Kruger. There's always lots of great new movie reviews anywhere you follow or like Jenny, and maybe even some interviews to come. Wink, wink. Also, again, look for Jenny's beautiful photo on the sidebar of my website, Space Jockey Reviews, where you can click on it and go at light speed always directly to Memoirs of a Scream Queen. Jenny, this has been another truly out-of-this-world interview. Good luck. Keep Space Jockey Reviews updated with all you do. And again, thank you so much for being here today.
I will, and thank you so much. I had a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate this. And if I do make it in Hollywood, I will keep you on my mind, and you can be the first person to interview me for everything.
Oh, please do. Yes, like I told Zena,
I will.
you are welcome back anytime for an interview. Anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, give everyone a big goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Hello again, everyone. Right after we ended the interview, Jenny thought of one more very important thing she wants to add to the interview. So she called back, and here she is.
Hi. I wanted to give a shout-out to Queenie from Queenie Todd. I mentioned the other horror bloggers, and I really wanted to mention her because she is a good friend, and I really, really love her, and I really love her blog. So I wanted to give a shout out to her too as well. So I didn't want you thinking I forgot you. I didn't forget you. I love you, Queenie. So this is my shout out to you. I really hope you like it, and everybody go see her site. She's so nice, and she really is dedicated to what she does, and I really do love you, Queenie, and I value your friendship. And thanks so much, Chris, for letting me call you back and doing this. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.